who have continued to show utter disrespect to the authority of this House. Mr. Speaker, for the CS in charge of matters health to communicate to your office this morning that she will not be appearing before the Senate when she is expected to be here at 10, Mr. Speaker, that is now the newest level of contempt. Mr. Speaker, I'm alive to the happenings of last evening where the CEO of Chief Shah was suspended, and the reasons given for it, Mr. Speaker, is professional misconduct. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether there are any provisions in law for suspension of cabinet secretaries for either professional or political misconduct, but this one, Mr. Speaker, must go to the highest office in the land. When senators come to the chamber every Wednesday morning, the express reason for their appearance, Mr. Speaker, is to ask questions for and on behalf of the counties that they represent. And those questions are supposed to be responded to by cabinet secretaries. The Speaker is now becoming a trend. And I said this 2 weeks ago, that for 2 Wednesdays in a row, we were unable to transact the Wednesday morning sessions because cabinet secretaries are not available. We went on a break, Mr. Speaker. We have come back. The first Wednesday after the break, the cabinet secretaries don't show up. And what are we expected to do, Mr. Speaker? To just lament, express our displeasure, and wait for another Wednesday. Mr. Speaker, things must happen, and those things must begin to happen now. I was in this house, Mr. Speaker, and all of us were in this house a couple of weeks ago during the impeachment of the deputy president. And this house received a report that the deputy president then was indisposed. But in the wisdom of this house, Mr. Speaker, we continued with the process of impeachment. What happened is that we have to continue with our sessions, with our interrogation, and especially in the midst of health, even in the face of reports that the CS is indisposed. Mr. Speaker, I want to call upon ourselves, and I have heard Senator Chute saying that perhaps we need to bring a motion of censure against the cabinet secretaries. But Mr. Speaker, maybe that is not enough. Maybe, Mr. Speaker, the starting point would be to have a serious and candid conversation with the appointing authority of the CSs, so we get to know, the Speaker, whether these sessions make sense to government or maybe they don't make sense, Mr. Speaker. The reason for these sessions, Mr. Speaker, as I said, are for exclusively to have an engagement with cabinet secretaries for and on behalf of our constituents. If you look at the order paper, Mr. Speaker, for every Wednesday morning, there's no provision for another business. It's just questions to cabinet secretaries. If they cannot appear, Mr. Speaker, then perhaps we should even disband the Wednesday morning sittings. I speak for myself, and I speak for myself. This morning, I was supposed to be doing homework with my son. I had to leave him and come to engage with the CSs. Now I've missed out on doing homework with my son, and I'm missing out on engagement with cabinet secretaries. For me, it's a wasted morning. And each senator here will have a story to say about what they were supposed to be doing. Now, Speaker, I think a time has come that really, and this is a bipartisan issue. This has got nothing to do with the political alignment of anyone. Mr. Speaker, these cabinet secretaries, who are the face of the president, are giving this government a very bad name. That's what it is. Because, I mean, you cannot be invited to come to the Senate, and in the morning of the day that you're supposed to appear, you're writing a letter to the Speaker. The Speaker, if I were you, and I thank God that I'm not you, that's a letter that you just, RTS, just return to center. It's a letter that should not even be read before the Senate. It's contempt, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with those remarks, I'm at a loss as to whether, Mr. Speaker, continue with these morning sessions on Wednesday, or free senators to engage in other activities which would also be more beneficial, perhaps to their families and to the people that they represent, than coming to sit here to wait for cabinet secretaries who have no respect at all to the Senate. The Speaker, I submit.
Senator Esther Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I equally wish to join my colleague senators in expressing my displeasure in the failure by the cabinet secretaries to appear in this House, which has the mandate of the people. Mr. Speaker, this is one of the reasons I actually want to side with the president of being a lonely voice in government. The cabinet secretaries have chance to add voice to what government is doing in serving Kenyans. But you see, cabinet secretary tenders a very casual letter to members after very critical issues that we anticipated to be addressed this morning, Mr. Speaker. You can see the issue of polio vaccines, the allegations of children who have actually suffered adverse effects. I expected the Cabinet Secretary for Health to address and shed light on those matters. The issue of tuberculosis, the issue of HIV, those are very critical decisions we as a House ventilate on, question on, and get highlight on what government is doing. But it's really sad that when offered such a platform, a cabinet secretary tends to prioritize other matters other than life and death decisions which as a House have to make. Mr. Speaker, I want to say as a young legislator, it's very disheartening because these are people we actually want to lead by example, but this is what they are showing the young people and women of this country, Mr. Speaker, and very many other special interest groups that we represent. It's really sad, and I do not wish that members keep lamenting over this issue. There is a clear cut line on why Parliament acts as a separate arm. And I think cabinet secretaries need to prioritize the business of Parliament because Parliament has the mandate by the people. So this morning, I'm actually very disappointed that such heavy critical matters that were to be raised by different senators from these questions here are just going to pass by as time goes by and the clock is slowly ticking, Mr. Speaker. So this shouldn't be a joke like any other, Mr. Speaker. A serious discussion needs to happen around this because it's now become a norm that cabinet secretaries don't show up, time elapses before you even get a solution to what you raised. You've even lost, if it were patients, you've even lost them before they get redress on their matters. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Maanzo Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this morning we were ready to deal with the question of health. There are many, many issues. There are many questions relating to the Ministry of Health. There are many questions relating to SHA and SHIF. There are many questions relating to the 1998 American bombing victims, who we had earlier on asked the Ministry of Health to provide specialized medical health care to these particular persons. Just before I came to the House, I met a constituent of makwiny, who, shouted frantically at the gate that he needs help from me, that his child is stuck in hospital and he has been denied access because of SHA and SHIP, and yet he had paid. Mr. Speaker, these are the issues we wanted the Minister for Health to elaborate. Mr. Speaker, if we allow all cabinet secretaries to say that they have just gotten ill every morning of Wednesday, and no one ever comes to answer questions here, Mr. Speaker, the country will suffer. We all appreciate that one can get sick or fall ill anytime, although this House rejected the time of impeachment of DP Gachagua. It is something courts usually allow. But we want to say that it is important that we have quite a number of cabinet secretaries. Even if one is taken ill, the others should be able to appear, so that, and they know that on Wednesdays is our day with him, and even the cabinet and even their boss, the president, knows that we have set aside Wednesday for this. And that's why this particular day, there's never cabinet or an engagement with them, with the president, unless it is extremely urgent. And I believe cabinet secretaries should take Parliament serious. They are the image of the government. In this particular matter, they have failed the government terribly. And something must be done. Either one resigns if they are unable to handle the business as a cabinet secretary, or as a House, we take action, as Senator Chute has said, so that we can discuss the conduct of these particular cabinet secretaries. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd beg to say that it is important that the cabinet takes this House seriously. I thank you.
Senator David Wakoli. Because, we might lament here the whole morning. So
Asante.
2 minutes.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa nafasi hii angalau taja machache kuhusiana na mchecheto mzima huu wa ukosefu wa mawaziri kuja hapa kujieleza kwa mapana na marefu. Mheshimiwa Spika, Biblia inasema Yesu alipokuwa anatembea na wafuasi, wakamuona mwanamke mmoja, wakamuita mzinzi, wakataka hata wampige mawe. Mheshimiwa Spika, na Yesu kwa busara yake akasema, nani miongoni mwenu hana dhambi? Yule asiye na dhambi atupe jiwe wa kwanza. Mheshimiwa Spika, wengi walifiata midomo, wakaweka mikia katikati ya miguu, Mheshimiwa Spika, na hatimaye wakamwacha binti huyu ambaye alikuwa anashiriki biashara zake. Kile ningependa kusema Mheshimiwa Spika ni kwamba hakuna mtu duniani humu hana dosari. Hakuna mtu duniani humu hana makosa. Kuteleza sio kuanguka. Na mimi naomba jumba la Senate kwamba tuna haki kikatiba kuwasikiza na wao kutupa majibu kuhusiana na changamoto zinazowakumba wa Kenya. Ni dhahiri shairi kwamba mfumo wa afya una changamoto. Tumeona viongozi wa wafanyikazi, madaktari wakitoa ilani. Yote tunakubali Mheshimiwa Spika, na sisi chote tunachotaraji ni kwamba waziri wa afya na yule mwenzake waweze kuja katika jumba la Senate, tujadili kwa pamoja na tutafute njia mbadala za kutatua changamoto hizi. Mheshimiwa Spika, waziri wa afya na mwenzake wako na nafasi kwa sababu ni wataalamu wa muda mrefu wajieleze, watume arafa ama waje. Watueleze siku ambayo wamo tayari, wapo watakuwa tayari wiki lijalo, Mheshimiwa Spika, ili kazi ambayo tunayo katika jumba la Senate iweze kusonga kwa kasi. Sasa mimi sitaki kuwa yule mfuasi wa kutupa mawe katika kundi la wale wa Kristo waliotaka uponyaji, lakini ni kuomba Senate iwape nafasi, iwapo ni wiki lijalo, waje wajieleze kinagaubaga, tufunge ukurasa wa changamoto hizi na tusonge mbele, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na mwisho, hawa ni mawaziri ambao ni wapya, ni ufagio ambao lazima uanze kufagia na kutengeneza serikali. Sasa tuwape nafasi, japo tuna hasira za mkizi ni furaha kwa mvuvi, Mheshimiwa Spika, na sisi sio wavuvi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Sisi ni jumba la Senate ambalo tunawapenda wote, na tuwape wote nafasi kufanya kazi kwa mujibu wa katiba na yale yanayoweza kufanyika kibinadamu. Asante, Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Mudigi Alexander.
Asante Bwana Spika. Mimi niko na huzuni mkubwa kwa sababu siku ya leo, wakati tulisema mawaziri watakuwa nakuja siku ya Jumatano, tulikuwa tuko na mahono ya kusaidia mwananchi katika masinani, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu tukiwa maseneta sisi huwa tunatetea ukatuzi, na ukatuzi hawa mawaziri wanafanya kazi katika masinani ndio mwananchi aweze kufaidika. Na niko na huzuni pia kama sisi maseneta tunaweza kuja hapa na mambo ya ukoo ama mtu ni wa ukoo gani, alafu tunaanza kutetea, kwa sababu najua wakati Bwana Spika wale tulitimua na tukaleta wengine wapya wamekuja na ujuzi ya kufanya kazi, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, wakati mtu amechaguliwa anafaa kujua siku hiyo anafaa anje kazi. Ni kama vile Yesu alikuwa anateua watu na watu wafanya kazi kutoka siku hiyo. Tuko na mfano Bwana Spika, wakati deputy mteule ambaye Abraham Kendiki Kithure alichaguliwa, alianja kazi mara moja. Sasa nimeshindwa kama nimeona senator mwenzangu, kwa sababu mtu ni wa kabila yake anakuja kumtetea. Ukatusi tutaiua, kwa sababu niko na huzuni katika Embu County. Waziri ambaye ni wanyama wa pori, ambaye siku ya leo wiki hii Bwana Spika, wiki hii unakuta Kiambere Ward kuna kijana mmoja ameuawa na ndovu, na saa hii watu familia yao hawana chochote na kuwa wanachanga. Kwa hiyo niko na huzuni. Bwana Spika, nataka unipe nafasi niweze kuongea, kwa sababu wana wakoli rafiki yangu ameongea kamaliza. Niko na huzuni, nataka nisaidiwe, kwa sababu mtu anaitwa John Muturi Mugo Kiambere Ward ambaye ameuawa na ndovu jana, na leo mvua inanyesha, na huyo waziri wanyama pori angekuwa hapa. Pia niko na huzuni, jana usiku mambo ya SHA na National Insurance Fund kuko na vita, unakuta kuna mtu ametimuliwa na watu wanakufa, wengine wanagonjeka, halafu sasa mambo mengine yanafanyika. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mimi nakataa mambo ya wale maseneta wanapinga. Ningetaka watu washukuriwe hatua ambaye ni kali, kwa sababu tuko na njia ya kufuata katiba ya serikali ya muungano. Asante Bwana Spika.
You should also give him that opportunity, because I'm the one controlling the house. There was a point of order which was persistently requested by Senator Wakoli, and you did not give him that opportunity when he was on the floor. So now, because he is not on the floor, it is not possible to give you the point of order.